Hello, everyone, and welcome again to another Teacher Joseph podcast. Are you thinking about coming to the UK on a holiday, or perhaps you've been here more than once? Well, I hope your next trip is something a little bit different. Let me explain. So, most of us, when we go on holiday, for example, if you go to any big city, you kind of enjoy what you see. There's usually museums, art galleries, castles, palaces, pubs for food, restaurants, and you kind of sit there and you think, oh, I like Britain. It's nice, isn't it? But we often forget that that isn't what British people actually do. It's what tourists do when they are in the middle of the city and they're there for 2 or 3 days. But that isn't actually how British people are. And I want to tell you more about that so that you can choose other things to do to get inside British culture. So let me just give you an example to put this into perspective. So, when I lived in Spain, I was living very close to the center of Barcelona, but it was very clear that the center of Barcelona, La Rambla, is designed for tourists. Okay, Spanish people work in it, so do other nationalities. In fact, mainly other nationalities. But if you look closely, you'll soon realize that Spanish people don't go there because they know it's for tourists. They know it's overpriced. They also know it's a bit dangerous. So it's not something that they do. Other nationalities do, including other Spanish speaking countries, people from those places, but locals just avoid it. And it's kind of the same in London. People go for nights out, they go for parties once every so often. Even me, I like going to London sometimes, stay for a few days in a nice hotel, have a look around. But that really doesn't reflect how we live. And I want to give you some ideas about what you can choose to do if you're coming to London or another city in the UK over the summer. Well, one thing you can do is join a club online. So we're living in a digital age where everything is connected. One thing about London is it's very, very impersonal. So if you get the chance to talk to someone or the same person twice, you'll be really, really lucky because that's not the way our system works. Everyone is so busy, everyone is running around, everyone's trying to make money. Nobody really cares about tourists, okay? So, my recommendation for you is let's say you like photography, okay? Get into a local club. Let's say that there's a Facebook group for photographers in a place just outside London, okay? Let's say Middlesex, which is one of our counties, or to choose a city outside of London, let's say Mosey, which is a place near Hampton Court Palace, or Hampton. Okay, I'm just choosing names at random, somewhere within traveling distance of London. So you join the Facebook group, you begin to build up friendships with people talking about photography or whatever the hobby is. And then when you go to your trip, you can time it around when these people are actually meeting up in a pub or in a bar so you can meet them and it becomes much more personal. Now, that's a very different thing from booking a trip to London and wandering around the city centre, not talking to anyone except your friends back home on WhatsApp. Okay, so the idea is to try to build up some kind of friendship and relationship, which means that during your trip to the UK, you'll have at least someone to talk to. We all love holidays, we all love doing things, but when we go on a holiday alone or only with our wives or boyfriends, very quickly you realize that you're very, very limited because you might have no friends in that place, and usually you won't have. Being stuck with one person for 2 weeks to do things together is just as stressful as being at home. So the idea is that you try to build up some kind of human relationship somehow, and then by the time you get to London or whatever it is you're going, you have at least something to look forward to. And this, I think, is really, really important. And that takes away that harshness and that impersonal trip, which might be for 2 weeks. I mean, 2 weeks of seeing nobody except using WhatsApp to talk to friends and family at home isn't really, at least in my opinion, it's not really the best idea of a trip. So, to make sure that you're able to build up friendships is really important. If you don't want to do that, another thing you could do is your country probably has some kind of connection with London. That might be for historical reasons. For example, if you're ever in London, you soon find out that there's an Italian consulate there that is spreading the good news of your culture across the UK. I think the Italian embassy has language classes, cultural classes. I think it even has cooking classes for people who want to learn more about Italian. Your country, wherever you come from in the world, probably has the same. So if you align yourself with that, you could get yourself in a situation where you can use your native language, meeting English people as well, maybe even having an exchange with them. Or alternatively, you could be maybe just chatting with English people using your basic English who are visiting your cultural centre. So you see, there's loads of ways you could connect, and you need to use your strengths as an advantage there. Okay, so let me just say that again. Okay, we all have strengths. That might be for you a particular cultural thing. Okay, but whatever that is, if it's something from your culture, link it in with the people from your culture who are already living in London, um, and then you can share your experiences. If you do it officially through your attaché, or I don't know what you call them, ambassador's office in the UK, you get to meet loads of English people. I'm just thinking about I'm just choosing a random country here. Belarus, for example. Okay, Belarus has even a little museum in London, uh, which was opened by Belarusian people that moved there many, many years ago. There's also a group called, I think, the Friends of Belarus, is it? Or it's part of the Belarusian experience in London. I can't remember what they call it, but my point is the same, and that is the more things you can do to make your trip personal, the nicer it's going to be. I never understood why people go on holiday for 2 weeks and don't talk to anybody. Isn't that just crazy? And I know that we don't have the possibility always to talk to people, but some of the worst holidays I've ever had, I've gone for 2 weeks, let's say, to a country, wandered around it with a camera, ran away from anyone who even tried to talk to me because I was so afraid of my second language skills. Now, when I go to other countries, I tend to stay there for months at a time so that I can get to know the culture there rather than just going for a week and talking to nobody. Isn't that just loneliness? If you do that, if you go on holiday um, and you don't talk to anyone for 2 weeks, surely you would come back with your mental health worse than when you went. I think there was only once I went on holiday. Oh yeah, Santander, that was it. Yeah, in Spain. I was supposed to stay there for a week, and after 4 days, I really, really wanted to leave. I mean, for some reason there was I don't know what it was, but there was something about Santander. I was thinking, you know what, I don't want to be here. I really need to go home. And I did. I left 3 days early. I paid a lot of money to get home early, but I just didn't want to be there. And part of the problem was that there was just no one to talk to. I just felt really alone in this big city, which is unusual for me because, bearing in mind, I've lived in loads of other places. But in those other places, I've had connected people, connections, friends. So my point is, you need to use your strengths in advance before you go so that your holiday becomes involving at least somebody, maybe even a pen friend, language partner that you've created online and that you're ready to meet. That could be disastrous, of course, if you're not ready to meet them. But just at least a face that can talk to you, even if it's only for half an hour. I think that's really, really important. So there we are. That's my advice to you. And bear in mind as well that British people, we are usually very, very organized. Our calendars are full, so arrange it a couple of weeks in advance so that we can be there to meet with you on a particular day or something like that. Don't leave it to the last minute and then send a message saying, oh, by the way, I'm in the UK. Any chance of meeting you today or tomorrow? Because that's not going to happen. That's not the way we do it. All right, so it's something to think about. If you are coming to the UK, get into Facebook, join a few Facebook groups. Walkers, for example, people who like to walk in the countryside, look at how often they go for their outings. Photographers is a good one. Yeah, people who love history. I know in my town here, we have a history group that meets every other week. It's advertised in Facebook. I haven't been, but it's very cheap. I think it's only £5 for a few hours. And while you're walking, you can listen to the speaker, you can meet new people. So, yeah, something for you to think about there. That's it. Okay, see you soon. Bye.